Okay, so what we've got here is a typical, maybe atypical worksheet. What we're looking at here is just data, looks like sales data, and it shows the team, shows who they sold to, who the contact was, and eventually how much that they have sold year to date to this to each of these customers. So we've got the Hendricks team and the LuJack team and so forth. Now, I want to start out first of all showing you all how to navigate this data. Now, it's one thing to sit there and say, okay, there it is. I guess I can hit my down arrow key and kind of go one row at a time like that, whatever, to eventually get down towards the bottom and all that. What you can do, though, maybe a little bit more efficient, would be to just kind of point in the area, and using the wheel on your mouse, you can kind of drag or roll the mouse wheel down, and that will scroll you through the data going that way, right? And we can also go the other way using the up roller of the wheel, right? So we got going up and then we got going down. All right, so that's pretty easy. The other aspect would be you can also go over here to the elevator that's on the far right here, hold down your mouse and drag it, and you can do the same thing there. So the elevator is proportionate to what you've got here. So you can see the size of it. It's pretty long there. And I'm sure a lot of you maybe have seen other worksheets where this is very short, and it's very short because there's a lot going on here. But in this case, you can just tell by the way it looks here as far as the length goes that it doesn't have to go that far until you're at the very end here. Okay? So you've got that. You also have the down scrolling arrow here. I hope you can see where I'm at there. You can scroll like that. You can scroll up if you wanted to like that. If you've got a lot of width, I mean this thing goes well past column M or whatever, you can use your right scrolling arrow to move over that way, and you can also go to the left, and you can also use your elevator or scroll bar there. See? That works pretty easy. Now, each of these little rectangles you see here are what we call cells, okay? And the cells are derived by all these rows and all these columns. So when you look at that grid, each of the little rectangles in there, those are called cells. The cells have names. When you click onto this cell right here, its name is derived by taking the column and taking the row. So it's kind of like reading a map. It might say, okay, Tampa is at K17, and so you go across to K, go down to 17. Oh, there's Tampa, type thing, right? Same thing here. So this is B5. That's how you tell that. So, and we've got quite a few cells, just so you know, because we have over 16,000 columns. Okay, we have well over 1 million rows. So just taking the 16,000 times the million plus, it gives you an idea of how many of the little squares we have here to fill in with either labels or numbers or formulas or dates, that type of stuff. So if you quickly, let's say, wanted to go down to D40, okay, you could scroll down like we did with the wheel down to D40, or what you could do is you can click on to what they call the name box, type in D40, just like that, hit the enter key, and it will take you down to D40, and you'll see that your pointer, which is that little outline, is around that. See, wherever your pointer is at, by the way, whatever you end up typing in on your keyboard ends up going into that particular cell, just so you know. So this huge expanse that I just described is all on this one sheet. All right. Now, we can have, just so you know, up to 256 of these sheets all in one single file. Okay. Now, if you wanted to create a new sheet, all you have to do is you go down here where that little plus is at, you click onto that, and you get a new sheet. And there you go. It says sheet 1. Now, depending on the version of Excel that you have, that has taken on many different looks, okay? But it's pretty obvious, whatever it looks like, that's the one that you click to get a new sheet, all right? So we got this new sheet 1 here. There it all is. A lot of times you want to keep track of what's on each of your sheets. So you can very easily point to where it says sheet 1 there on the tab, double click it, type in something like maybe a budget, 2019 or something, hit the enter key, and there's your budget sheet. All right, just like that. All right. If you wanted to rearrange them, what you can do is you can kind of point to the tab, hold down your mouse, drag it over to this side over here. You see that little black triangle right there. As long as you get it somewhere else, let go, it moves it over there. That's pretty neat. Now, if I go back to here, let's just say that these are the numbers. Let's just say that this is the, what we'll call this one. This will be the sales for 2016, way back in the past there. Okay, so 2016, right? Now, that's great. So those are your numbers for 2016, year-to-date numbers. Let's say that you want to make another sheet, because you got the same customers, another sheet for 2017. All right? Now, I don't think you'd want to have to go and create a new sheet and then on that sheet have to type in all this information as well as putting the year-to-date numbers in. It'd make a lot more sense to make a copy of this and then just change the numbers, right? For let's say 2017. So how do you make a duplicate? How do you make a copy of this, right? Two ways you can do this. The first way is you can do a right click on the tab, go to where it says move or copy, tell it that you want to create a copy, all right? And you want to put that copy, let's say, at the very end. I'm going to say at the end here, so move to end. So put the copy at the end. Hit OK, and there's your copy, just like that. Okay? That's one way. The other way would be to click on the tab, hold down the mouse button, drag it to a new location. So now you see that little black triangle on the right side of the last sheet there. And then before you let go of your mouse, you hold down the control key. You'll see a little plus going on in that little piece of paper there. Once you've got the control key held down, you let go of the mouse, let go of the control key, there's your duplicate, just like that. And then you go in, you say, okay, I'm going to make my changes to all my numbers here, and you have at it. Now, if you want to maybe color code your tabs so they're a little bit more noticeable, you just point to the tab, you do a right click on it, you go to tab color, pick a color, and that's it. Now that becomes the color. Now when you're on it, it looks like that. It looks more like what we call a gradient or a variant. And then when you click to another sheet, then you get the full color on there. See, so click onto it. I know I'm on it because I've got that faded look. Click over here. I'm off of it now, see? Now if I want to delete a sheet, all I have to do is I can point to it, do a right click on it, hit delete, and answer delete again, and it's gone. You have to watch out when you do that because there is no undo. In other words, here's your undo and redo up here. Notice how they're grayed out. I just did something. I can't undo it. That's one of the few things in Excel that when you do it, you can't undo it. All right, so major thing to look out for. So you point to the tab, you do a right click on it, hit delete again, gone. All right, and that's how that works. Now you'll see how it looks like it went off here a little bit. If I hit the little ellipse there, it kind of moves me over. Also too, let me just show you here. Well, you could have also used the arrow there too. They're grayed out now because we're already in field view here. But anyway, that's how you'd scroll the sheets, just in case you had a lot of sheets in here, right? You can also adjust this so that you can have more sheets without them being, kind of pushed off where you can't see them. So that's pretty good to do. Pretty easy to do and all that. All right. Now, if I need to make changes to any of my data that I have in there, all I have to do is click on to any one of the items that I want to change. I type in a new number, hit my enter key, that's it. It's that easy. You don't have to go in and delete it first. You can just go to that cell, change it. So if I go to here and I say, you know what, this is actually supposed to be retail, I just type in retail, just like that, enter it, done. All right, so very easy stuff to do. Now let me show you some other tools we use for navigating. If I happen to be on that cell right there, and I want to move down to the next row, I just hit the down arrow key. Okay, so the down arrow key, the up arrow key, right arrow key, left arrow key, pretty easy to do. All right. If I'm sitting where I'm at there, okay, and I hit the end key, okay, oop, and then hit the right arrow key, it goes to the far end, right? If I hit the home key, it just goes back. But if I want to go to the end, I would hit the end key, then the right arrow key goes to the end. Another way to do this would be, I can hit the control key, or hold that down, hit the left arrow key, it goes there, hit the right arrow key, it goes there. So a couple ways you can do that. If I want to go to the bottom of this section, control down arrow key. I want to go to the top of it, control up arrow key, see? Now if I'm sitting where I'm at there, okay, and I do a control down arrow, it's going to go take me to the end of that group. Now, why did it stop there? Well, because there's nothing there. All right, so it stops there. Now, if I hit my control key and the down arrow key again, then it stops at the first entry again, right? If I hit my control down again, it goes there, control down again, it goes there, and so on and so forth. And the same thing going up, it works the same way. So that's pretty easy. On your keyboard, if you hit the page down key, nothing really happens there. If I hit my control page down, then what it does, it goes to another sheet, see? So control page down goes to the different sheets. See, I went to budget there, and look at this, my control page up goes the other way. So I can navigate between my sheets by using the control page up or page down key. All right. Now let's say I'm sitting over here, and I want to go to the very end, or let's say I want to go to the very bottom right-hand corner of the worksheet. In other words, down, basically down to here. Okay. So what do I do there? So what you do is you do a control, hit the end, okay, it takes you right down there. If I do a control home, it takes me back up to the very top left-hand corner. Now selecting, let's get back to that for a little bit. If I'm using my mouse to select, and I would select something because I want to take it, let's say with the white plus here, let's say I want to select from Anna here, all the way down to Lawrence. I would just kind of drag it using the white plus. So I'm just pointing to here where I get the white plus, hold down the mouse, drag it down like that. When I do something like that, I can go back and maybe make it bold, make it italic, do something with it, or maybe I just want to delete it. Now another way you can select is if you're on a cell, okay, and you don't want to use the mouse for some reason, maybe it's just, it's off to the side, whatever, but you want to select a few cells, what you can do is hold down your shift key, which is almost like holding down the mouse button, and then you can use your arrow key going down to select it like that, and the right arrow to select it like that. And then, if you know some of the shortcuts, which by the way, let me just show you here, I have all kinds of shortcuts on this 253 shortcuts for Excel. Got all kinds of stuff in here that you can take a look at, all right? But just keep that in mind. But let's say you selected that area using your keyboard, and now you want to make it bold. Well, you can just do a Control B, and that makes it bold. Control I, that makes it italic. Pretty cool. I can also do Control I to turn it off, and Control B to turn that off, see? That's pretty cool. So let's say that you want to take this row right here, row 10 here, and you want to select it all the way across. Now, I very easily, just by me showing this to you, I could have just as easily just kind of drug it like that and selected it, right? But if you want to do it with the keyboard, you'd go to this cell, and on the keyboard you do a Control, Shift, right arrow key, and then go through your thing of bolding or whatever you want to do. So that's just another way of selecting. Now, if you decided that you wanted to maybe select the entire worksheet, all the cells, because maybe you want to change the font or do something in a major way to everything, how would you do that? Well, I mean, you could start at A1 here, drag your mouse and you know, as far as you need to go. You can do it that way, right? Or what you can do is just kind of point to what is called the select all button, this guy right here. You click that, everything gets selected. Then you can go to maybe to your home tab here and say, okay, I want to change the font to, let's say, the Courier font, right? So we would go down here a little bit. I'm just using my wheel to scroll down. There's my Courier New. Click onto that. There's my Courier font. Then I could say also, let's make it 1 point bigger. So I go over here to this big A here, or the A with the arrow in it. Click it. That brings it up to 11 points. So the bigger the points, or the bigger the number, the bigger the size. That works pretty good. Some other things that we're going to be talking about later on would be, what happened here is that because I made the text bigger and changed the text, you know, design, a lot of the columns are too narrow to display everything that's in there. So Anna Trujillo here, there's more to that name. Now, I'm just going to show this to you, even though it'll be covered later on in the other videos. You can actually say, well, I need to make this column wider, okay? So you can either go up here and go over to the border of A, hold down your mouse and drag it out like that, and you'll end up seeing whatever's in there. So it looks, oh, there it is. So now it's finally popping out there. So there it is, see? You can either do it that way, or you can just point to that border, and instead of dragging it, you can just do a double click with your mouse, just like that. Oop. Now, I don't know why it's not going over. That's kind of weird. Let's do there, double click it. It does not want to go over. That is really weird. Well, that's an oddity. I have no idea why that's not working. We'll try it on something else. I'll go to this guy here. All right, that's all cut off, right? Double click it, there it goes. So that's an odd one. I have no idea what happened there. If this one was narrower, all right, I could just double click that one, all right? When it comes to numbers, if those get cut off, you get these little pound symbols, right? So in that case, you just go back over here, double click it, and it makes it just wide enough. So that's pretty slick. Okay, so I think that'll take care of this first part here. So I appreciate you watching the video. Keep in mind, you can download this file off the tab on the right hand side there, and this file has in it this guy here. And I mean, like I said before, there's just a ton of shortcut codes, you know, such as like you know, whatever you see here. I mean, there's 253 of them, right? So quite a bit there. So take a look at that. Maybe learn a few of those to kind of shorten up a few of the commands for yourselves by having shortcuts. But again, thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.